because no one thinks about them or wants to talk about them or change them, then they aren't changed for a year, becomes 5 years, becomes 10 years, becomes 50,
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Scott Heric is our next guest. He is CEO and founder of the unionized payment processing service, Unionly. Scott, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I appreciate it.
Hey, how's everybody doing? You had a good Thanksgiving?
Yes. Yeah, had a great Thanksgiving. How about you?
Yeah, that was great. Only gained, I think, 5 of the 10 allotted pounds I had for myself. So, down a few from, years past. Average about 10, gained 5, so I'll take it.
Yeah, well, I think, gaining 5, I think that works. That works fine, because I read that after Thanksgiving, you're supposed to set your scale back 10 pounds. So
I like that. Yeah, like daylight savings kind.
Yeah.
I think I heard that too. Yeah. So it's actually right on par.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so in a sense, you might even say you lost weight if you set your scale back 10 pounds.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like the way you think. That's good. Official. You heard it here first. Yeah.
There you go.
Thanksgiving scale savings time.
There you go. Yeah, so, Scott, there were a couple of things that we wanted to talk to you about this week. And the first is we wanted to talk about local union bylaws. And that is, I can feel some folks in the audience going to sleep already. But bylaws, they really do have an impact on the way that a local operates, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting. And like you said, people think that, it's boring. I think that's also why it's important to bring up, because no one thinks about them or wants to talk about them or change them, then they aren't changed for a year, becomes 5 years, becomes 10 years, becomes 50, And obviously, with the way things are changing so rapidly now, there are things in bylaws I've seen handicap locals across the country so many times, like, oh, this is just the way it is. And you're like, well, right, but why is that? It's like, oh, and I can see why people wouldn't change it, because it's such a institutionally, integrated aspect of it in reality. But to me, it's important to go back to that, to say, well, maybe we should change these simple things that will not hamstring us on a day-to-day basis.
And so, what are some of those things in bylaws that you have seen hamper the ability of unions to get things done?
The biggest one is that there only paper can be used. That's one I've seen that's maybe a little more not outrageous, but limiting is, it has to be done. Only payments or anything of that nature can only be done in the mail, only be done by check. Sure, you can also do that if you really want to, but to say that it was all things that were created, bylaws that were written and created before the internet. But why would they say, hey, in the future, when someone makes this internet thing, we should, so they're all written before the digital age. But now that has changed and you're limiting yourself to paper only, I'm like, well, that's kind of wild, right? That's a big one I've seen, just around things of that nature, the timing of it, not being allowed to use anything related to the internet for it. The processing fee side of it, I think they had to relate with stamps or shipping or something, but I've seen ones where basically any fee outside of or above the dues is not acceptable, even though it's not paid to the union, right? So it's that's an NFC limit as well, where it's basically just all things that don't match up with the digital age and the current age we're in. That probably made sense at the time, but here we are 10 to 50 years later, and it's important to update it to account for the changing times, and especially as we enter into as we're into a new wave of increased technological development, and are about to enter into one that is even faster. It's kind of time to say, hey, it's time to go, right?
Mm-hmm. And what are some things that you would say to union members that what are ways that they can ensure that their union does keep their bylaws up to date?
To have this conversation, to review it, to look at some of the more limiting ones. I think maybe to look at when they were originally written or when they were updated, when major changes were made. I think to start with, it'd be when was the last time they were updated, right? That could be an interesting one. It was it last year? Was it, and if it was updated recently, what was that update? Not like, go buy your new edition history book, where Western civilization was updated every year because, that company needs to make money. They rewrote the book. Not that kind of update, right? But like an actual one.
Right. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.